Good evening. This is May 12th, and we have a great show again today. It's going to be a follow-up to the EdCamp which we heard via Twitter and other sources that was really fantastic. As you recall, we had a show, I believe, in March or April, anticipating the EdCamp. So now we're going to actually get to see what happened. And we're going to go first with Elizabeth Garrison, who is the president of HST, and so great to have her on. She has family things going on with her children, so we want her to go first, and we don't have video on her as well, except for her beautiful photo. So she'll be talking first, but let me introduce the other people. We have Anne Torige on my left. I don't know if that's on your right or not. Hi, Anne. Just came on from Kalani. Hi, Anne.
I'm the librarian at Kalani High School.
Okay. And Jessica is one of the founders and coordinators of EdCamPKauai. Jessica, could you tell us is that all you want to say, or you want to add something, Jessica?
Oh, yeah, I worked with the EdCamPKauai team. I'm the HST Kauai project manager, and yeah, currently on maternity leave from my tech coordinator position at Honolulu Elementary.
Nice. And we have Lisa Mireles, who also was very much involved with EdCamPKauai. And could you tell us a little bit about your background, Lisa, which is extensive, I know.
Well, currently I'm the secondary school renewal specialist and Common Core lead on the island of Kauai. And I'm on the HST board with Elizabeth. Lucky to be on that with her. And I met her way back in Schools of the Future. We were got to know each other then. Yeah, that's good for now. And I help with EdCamp. But Jess did most of the work, to be honest.
Okay. So, Elizabeth, could you tell us a little bit about yourself besides being the president of HST, and then if you'd like to follow up with your thoughts on how it went with EdCamPKauai.
Okay, thanks, Linda. And just warning, my baby's back inside, so I might have to go on mute again, but we'll see what happens. So I am the HST president currently, and I was invited to the EdCamPKauai by the HST affiliate in Kauai, and it was a great opportunity. Michael Frianco and I were guests, and it was my first one. And some takeaways. I went to the discussion about grants and rewards opportunities, and donorchoice.org was probably my biggest takeaway. And I've heard about it before, but I didn't realize how powerful it could be and how so many people really were looking at that to donate to educators. And then I've seen some since then, so that, you know, once you start hearing about one, then you hear about others, which I can't think of any names right offhand, but the donorschoice.org was really, really positive. And then I led a discussion on e-portfolios in the afternoon, and that was really, really good too. Had some great takeaways from different people on people who've experienced it, and then those who did not. So that was really great.
Great. Okay, so what I'm doing is, as you mentioned, Donors Choose, we have something called show notes for each of our programs. So those of you who are watching can check out bit.ly/grh for Google Rocks Hawaii 75 notes, and we plan to be putting links there that you can check out for later use, for later exploration. Anything else you want to add, Elizabeth?
No, it was a really positive day, and it was really exciting to see so many educators out on a Saturday morning into afternoon. So that was to learn from one another, and the participants leading the conference was really, really exciting.
Now, as your president, did you go on your as the HST president representative, or just on your own? because you wanted to?
I went as the HST president. I was invited by the Kauai HST chapter. Michael Frianca, who is the current president-elect for next year, and I went as well. So it was great. It was my first EdCamp, and I'm looking forward to others.
That's great. Okay. Well, you're welcome to stay on as long as you wish to listen, but we'll understand if your baby calls. No problem. Yeah, really appreciate you coming on, and as I say, you're welcome to stay on. Okay, so yes, that'll be great. She's saying I will try. That's great. Okay, so between Jessica and Lisa, who would like to start the ball rolling on how wonderful it was, or not?
Jess, we'll let Jess go.
Okay.
And then I'll just jump in after. Yeah.
Okay.
So EdCamp was awesome. It exceeded my expectations. Our goal was to get 100 people, and we had over 100. We had about 100 and let's say 20. I'd have to look back, find the exact number, register, and we had 95 show up, which is a great rate. Oftentimes it's about, I've heard the average is 50%, so for us to get 95 people there on a Saturday. And what's really great is because those people, I would say 90% of them, maybe 95%, were brand new to EdCamp. They had no idea what it was. They just went kind of as on a leap of faith. Either they heard about it from one of the HST Kauai members, or they saw our ads, or were enticed by the prizes, whatever the reason. To get 95 people into that space on a Saturday was quite an accomplishment for us. So the day just started off with a great energy. People were there before the registration doors even opened. Everything pretty much went off without a hitch, which is almost unheard of. Besides maybe having, Wi-Fi issues when everyone was in the one room at one time, it was pretty smooth the whole time. I was just waiting kind of for something to trip us up or happen, and it really went as planned, and I couldn't ask for anything more than that. It's a beautiful setting. The classrooms all worked out well. The sessions, one of the most nerve-wracking things when you're hosting something like this is, oh my gosh, is our session board going to get filled up? Because that would be, that's stressful. You're hoping that these people understand this explanation you're giving them and take a leap to go ahead and put up a session. And the session board filled up within 5 minutes. I mean, it was so quick. It just was all kind of this organic process that happened without a lot of us directing, and it just kind of took its own form and ended up filling the session board and more overflowing. So trying to combine things together was fun. It was that part. You like high pace, kind of stressful things. That was it. It was kind of like a high, like, oh my gosh, we have to get this all organized in 15 minutes and get everyone out to their first session. So it was exhilarating. Having that type of energy in the room and just hearing people talk, while they were waiting for the whole thing to kick off. It was just awesome to have that many like-minded people, that many educators in one room from schools all over the island, some from Oahu, just teachers and administrators, everybody having a chance to just sit and talk story and catch up a little bit and then be part of the whole process. It was really something amazing to see unfold. So yeah, from start to finish, things went really smooth. Lunch was good, and then we had our last session, and afterwards we did our post survey, which gave us some great feedback. That was really interesting to look over and see how teachers, how everyone felt about it, and suggestions and things for next time. And then, yeah, it all closed out. We had our prize giveaways, and it went off pretty pretty well. I was really pleased with the way the whole thing went, and although I couldn't sit in on all of the, the only bummer for people who were organizing was you couldn't really sit in a session the whole time, or maybe you got to go to one of the three. But we were behind the scenes trying to make sure everything was ready for the next thing coming, and keeping time and get everything organized for the closing and stuff. So that was the only part I didn't like. But just bopping into rooms and sitting in and just hearing the discussions people were having, it was just so rich. It was meaningful conversations, and it was great to see people connecting and having those aha moments, and I know they're taking those back to their classrooms. It was stuff that, even though it's towards the end of the year, I know they're going to take back and use. They used it on Monday, some of the strategies and things that they've heard from, their peers. So, yeah, overall it was as well as I could have ever expected it and more. So I was really stoked about the whole thing, and excited to do it again. Now that people know what it is, it's not so hard to kind of sell them on it. We don't have to sell them on it. We had 95 people go. They can testify, as to how they felt it went.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask you that. Is there going to be a second one? But you just answered that question. Yay.
Yeah, we, just seeing that, we pulled it off. That was enough for me to definitely do it again. And we have plans, our year 2 HST Kauai plans, that's already in there, and there is some funding for it. So I think doing it the first time will definitely be the hardest, because it was all new, and we did everything from scratch and borrowed some things here and there. But doing it again, I could see it being way easier. Everything, you just have to change the year. It's EdCamp 2016, but pretty much everything is going to stay as it was. And so, yeah, I would definitely say there'll be another one.
And do you think it'll be about the same time? I'm thinking, people might say, oh, it's going to happen in April.
Yeah. So one of the questions that we asked on the post survey was what time of the year would be good, because that's always a really tricky one. We tried to have a couple of Google Apps workshops throughout the year that we put on, and timing is important. It can't be around a holiday. End of the year is tough because teachers are busy with graduations and all the end of the year stuff. You don't want to buy tests. It's just so hard to find a good time for everyone. You'll never find that. But one of the questions asked what time of the year, and most said, a lot said that April was fine. And then I got a lot of feedback that sometime around September, maybe before the first fall break, was also a good time. And that's also nice just because you have the rest of the year to maybe implement those things that you're learning, and networking. If you make a connection with another teacher, you can implement a project for the rest of that year, something like that. So yeah, the two biggest, most popular times were either when we had it in April or that September, early October range was another really popular time of the year. So we'll have to look at that the next time. Yeah.
Tell me about the prizes. I saw a glimpse and some happy people on Twitter.
Yeah, we had some killer prizes. So we gave away 10 Apple TVs to the school that had the highest percentage of teachers or educators, teachers and men, whoever, show up. And that was actually, that went to the host school, Island School. So they were, super excited about that. So they got 10 Apple TVs. We gave away a Dremel 3D printer. Every school that had a representative got a ticket into the drawing. So, there was tickets from pretty much every school on Kauai there. They also got a bonus ticket if they had a certain amount of participants. But the school that ended up winning was St. Catherine's. It's a small, school here on Kauai, and they were over the moon. They were so excited when they won that. You would have thought they all won, $1 million. But it was just to see that. I was like, I'm so happy they won, And they'll use it because they had quite a few teachers there, so they're interested and involved. So that they actually got delivered about 2 weeks ago. So they've got that. We had Chromecasts. We gave away 3 of those. We gave away a $750 gift certificate to art gallery. Melanie Ching, actually, I think she won that one. We had T-shirts, gift certificates to local coffee places, local restaurants, exercise places, car wash. Gosh, we had a lot of prizes. It was great to have all the community involvement. And we also had, at the last minute, 3 days before the event, I got this flood of like 7 kind of tech-based companies that contacted me to say, oh, we'll donate apps or subscriptions. So we gave away a ton of those to people there. Almost everyone got at least that. You left with an app or a subscription to something. So the prizes were pretty awesome. I don't know if we're going to be able to top that one. That will be fun.
It's better than Oahu. Better than Oahu conferences.
Yeah. Oh, and an iPad. Yeah, we gave away an iPad. Yeah, there were some big ones. Yeah, none of the EdCamp team won any of them either.
We were a little sad about that. No, we were happy.
So were you the one who solicited the donations, Jessica? Jess?
It was mostly the EdCamp team, so me and Lisa, Melanie Slimco from St. Catherine's, Cody from Kamui Kapono Charter, Nathaniel Eslin, he's from Island School. We all, Sarah Devlin from Honolulu, yeah, we all, that was the core team, and we asked whoever we thought might be interested. And so, yeah, each of us pulled from different people and got some really awesome things.
I think that's the key, is having several people soliciting rather than just one. Yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I would not want to be the only one asking for donations. Yeah, because everyone has different connections. Everyone has family who do certain things, or the place that they stop every day for coffee. It's better when you're a familiar face to go in there and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Can you help us out? So that was a big help.
Fantastic. Okay. Anything else you want to add for now, Jess?
Not that I can think of at the moment. I'm sure I'll think of something else.
Okay. So we're off to your left with Lisa.
Yeah. Jess was right. It was a great day, and just building off what she talked about, I think it was a great day because we were able to learn from other people. So the EdCamp Honolulu team was really generous in their advice, their suggestions, their links to resources, their planning documents, and then we were able to get EdCamp in a Box, which Michael Furcano had sent us an email about, so we were on it that day. So we had a lot of people, and we all went as part of our grant that we have from the Hale'oluwehi Charitable Trust. We were able to go to EdCamp Honolulu. A whole big team of us, 13 of us, went to that after Schools of the Future. So I think because of that, we had a kind of a crystal clear idea of what it would take, and then we had a lot of help, and we didn't wait. We kind of struck while the iron was hot. Even though that was in November, we started planning right away, like, let's make it happen. So I think it was a lot of really awesome planning led by Jess and the rest of the team, and we just met monthly, and sometimes we even met virtually, I think, right, Jess? Or we mostly did.
Yeah.
And
in the beginning.
Yeah. And people did their things in between, and then it was just so much fun setting it all up the day before, and then getting there early that day. But everything just went really smoothly, so I think the participants benefited from that. So the energy was just perfect, and as Jess said, we were so excited about that board, how fast it filled, and it overfilled that we had to add rooms for other sessions, and we were combining topics as best as we could, and Michael, who is an EdCamp, kind of veteran, helped us with that part, but he didn't need to do much. But the caliber of topics was awesome, and the more progressive topics were really good. So there was project-based learning, there was Minecraft, there was one that was wonderful. Some administrators were there, and one said, like, how can administrators better support teachers? Not specifically tech-related, but it was such a great open dialogue in the room. we also had some community members there that provided support and different perspectives. So I did get to sit in on a lot of the sessions, and they were amazing and dynamic and good conversations, good connections. So, but I think it all comes back to the planning, and then I guess we lucked out that the topics were all so good. So the rooms were full and busy, and it was just so stimulating. And so many people said to us at the end of the day, or to me anyway, like, this is how all the PD should be. This was great. This was so much fun, and thank you guys so much. We just had a lot of gratitude. So it was really rewarding and nice to see people from across the schools come together voluntarily for learning that mattered to them. So that was neat. We had almost every school. I think we missed like a couple schools, 2 or 3 out of our, we have a lot. We have like over 25 maybe when you add up everybody. So we had a good number of schools there, so that was nice. We have a lot of new HST members, I think. But for me personally, it was just a very, very, I was so impressed by the team. I mean, Jess really did a great job leading everybody, and made it easy for all the rest of the people on the team. So you gotta have a good team to do it. But yeah, the model is great. Now I'm thinking about how we get that across, to all our school leaders, that this is a great model that they could sort of do on miniature scales at their school sites, for after-school meetings, for PLCs that they might have. I don't know. I think it can be, those can definitely be more teacher-driven. So anyway,
well,
it was great.
Elizabeth just mentioned through chat that she felt that it was very well organized.
Yeah, I think that was a big.
That's the key.
it
Organized
was
and
really,
enthusiasm.
Yeah, the food was good, and like she said, everything worked really well. And the day started off with a great note. The headmaster of the host school was there, which I thought was a really nice touch for him to be so supportive for all of us. And he said some things that I think got everybody really in the right mindset. I can't remember what they were right now, but it was just the right opening, part of the opening. So that was really good. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I wanted to pick on a little detail that maybe our viewers did not know and I don't really know about. What is an EdCamp in a box?
Jess, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Or if you care, your secret, maybe.
It was great.
This is it's a new thing. Michael, had emailed us about it because they put up a blog post on the EdCamp Foundation website, which I put in the notes. And basically, a lot of organizations, foundations, people donate to EdCamp, the big organization, the EdCamp Foundation, sorry. So they get a lot of donations. So to help support EdCamps all over the country, they decided that they would create this EdCamp in a box where they will fill the box with the necessary supplies, the bare bones supplies, so things like the big Post-it notes, Sharpies, tape, name tags, what else is in there? Some other stickers. Yeah, just little things that are essential. I mean, you need name tags, you need Sharpies. So they kind of give you like a kickstart with the box. So it's about $300 worth of materials, and they just started. So you just have to go onto the edcamp.org website, and before you can even apply to it, you have to fill out a Google form saying we're hosting an EdCamp, this is what we're doing, give them some basics because they need you to connect with an EdCamp person, EdCamp Foundation person. So I got connected to Kristen Swanson. She was kind of like my mentor there, and after I talked to her, then I was able to submit the form for a request for the EdCamp in a box, and we had to be one of the first people to get it. I would have to imagine because I applied for it in March and we got it, by April 1st. So I think it's a fairly new thing, but it's all on their website. information about it.
Like the day we got the email. So it's a great support for people wanting to do EdCamps.
Cool. You went out for me for a second there. I don't know if I was the only one, Lisa. But I get the idea. Yeah, that's fine. Great. Wow, it sounds fantastic. Really fantastic. Anything else to add?
Looking back at the surveys just really quickly.
How did you do the surveys? Did you do a form?
Yeah, it was a Google form, and we pretty much we went off of the survey that EdCamp Honolulu used. We felt that kind of covered all our bases, and we had asked them, you know, how did that work out for you before we start making ours from scratch? You know, how were your results the last 2 years? And they said, great. So we pretty much went ahead with that, just added a couple other questions of our own. So, you know, out of the participants that went, 73%, you know, strongly agreed that they would come to another EdCamp next year, and 23%, the other 23 said agree. So, you know, that's pretty much everybody said that they would come next year and would recommend it to a friend. And just looking at, you know, what their favorite parts about EdCamp, you know, the ability to share ideas between teachers, you know, to have these professional conversations is something that nobody takes for granted, because it doesn't happen often enough. And that collaboration, I think that's kind of what the headmaster at Island School, he hit on that in his opening. You know, it's great to see private, public, Catholic, you know, school across the board. We're all just people who care deeply about our profession and our kids, and we want to elevate that, and that's why we were there on a Saturday morning. And just to, you know, cross all those bridges and have the conversations we want to have was great. It was really inspiring. Another thing I noticed, and I guess I probably noticed it this time because I've been to one EdCamp in Honolulu, but I also have been to the unconference at the beginning of the Kamehameha Schools conference last year, the Believe conference. So I went to an unconference there, and I went to a unconference before ISTE, so I've kind of gotten a good feel for them. And I noticed that at this one, people were really fine with getting, you know, using the rule of 2 feet. That's the only, you know, rule there is at EdCamp, is that if you're in a conversation or a room where you're not getting what you want, or it's not what you thought it was, get up and walk to another one. You know, you're there to get exactly what you want, so don't feel like you're, you know, hurting anyone's ego or anything. And I saw people doing that all over the place, and it was great. You know, I was in a session where the leader actually was like, you know what, you guys are all talking, you're really into science. It just happened that her session got filled with science teachers, and she wasn't a science teacher, and so she kind of let them have their conversation and got up and, you know, went to another, you know, another room, and that was awesome. You know, rarely are we allowed to leave our faculty meetings and go to something more interesting. So that was great to see. Yeah, that was a interesting thing, I guess, because I was walking around a lot, seeing people leaving one room and go to another. But yeah, overall, all the responses were really positive. You know, there were some things that were interesting that we know to do for next year. You know, since this was most people's first time, we definitely got them to feel comfortable enough to post on the session board. That wasn't a problem. But then when they got in their rooms, I guess some people just had maybe a little bit more of a difficulty facilitating the discussion, because that's what it was supposed to be. You know, when you put a session up, you're the facilitator, you're not supposed to be the expert. Well, we definitely got that point across, but a lot of people wanted an expert in there. You know, they wanted to learn more, and and there just wasn't enough expertise in the room, which was interesting. It means, you know, we need more workshops and training, maybe not this format, but other formats that we can do through our HST Kauai group, and we plan on doing that next year. We collected data of how many people were in each session so that we could see, oh wow, that, you know, that Google Apps session was overflowing. They had to split it up into 2 rooms. There were so many teachers. You know, that was really telling. The project-based learning, it's like that. The ones that had large numbers of people that stayed in that room, you knew, okay, this is what we need more of. This is what we, you know, that's how HST Kauai can kind of bridge that gap where we really want to try to provide professional development in areas where teachers really want it. So that was really eye-opening for me when I saw, wow, okay, this is where everyone went, you know, and looking at the rooms that nobody went to, not because the person, just the subject, and so that was all good data because we just worked out a proposal for our year 2, and so that was definitely taken into consideration when we wrote our proposal for year 2 grant funding, trying to hit those big topics that, you know, most people went to those sessions. So yeah, that was interesting.
So the 2 were Google Apps and project-based. Those were the most popular?
Those were really big. Yeah, I would say the Google Apps was the biggest. They were, I mean, I was in that room and I saw, you know, teachers sitting on tables, and I was like, this is too big. We have to split it up. And even when we split it up, it's still, I would say, was close to 35 people. They had to split it up, you know, elementary and high school, and even those rooms were full. Usually you try to keep the EdCamp, you know, sessions under, you know, 15, you know, 12. You want it small so you could have those conversations. So when I saw the room getting that full, I knew, wow, we need more of this. And even the teachers that were in there were like, can we just stay here? Can we just do Google all day? I was like, no, that's not how it works. I mean, you could, if you find someone you want to chat with for the rest of the day about Google, go right ahead. But we still have to go on with our planned other sessions. So yeah, that was a big one. The digital storytelling.
That was big, and I wanted to talk about the project-based learning was hilarious because we're all sitting in there, and the room is jam-packed, and the person who put it up never came. And so I'm like, a couple of us were like, okay, we'll facilitate it. She found something else interesting. And so she just learned something else, but we were able to do it. Luckily, I have some background in project-based learning, and so we were able to have a pretty good conversation. But we thought that was funny. But reflecting on that, what Jess is talking about, you know, one of the things, our takeaways was we could do a better job of balancing the board. You know, we could have put, like, instead of combining Google Apps, we could have seen that there was 5 or 6 of them and maybe put one in each of the time slots, right? So that there were 3 different conversations so people could choose. And then same with some of the other topics that seemed more popular. But now that we've done it once, I think we would have a better sense of how to do that, because the Minecraft one was popular. There were some other ones, the coding one, right? The maker one.
Yeah, the maker one was pretty big. Looking back at the session board to see. The social media one was big too.
Social media one was huge. I went to that one.
Yeah, that one
was a great conversation. But again, such a big room, big circle would have been better too smaller, right? If we would have had. So next time we'll have some extra rooms and ready to break people off even faster. But yeah, it was good. I was like kind of trying to I should have looked at the board more for like making sure we balance the content a little better. It's kind of like thinking about the strand.
It's a frenzy, right? So it's a little bit hard to do that when it's so frenetic. So how many sessions did you have altogether?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we had 3 sessions with 8 rooms going at once.
So 24, and then we had a couple extra rooms.
And then we had 2 open rooms that And people were outside too. They used the outdoor space.
Right.
So at least 24 sessions with some breakouts here and there. Some groups divided and moved elsewhere. Yeah.
So I'm thinking you've come to the conclusion about all these popular ones. Maybe you could inform the people who are doing other conferences like Schools of the Future and say, you know, this is what was popular at our EdCamp. Can you have more of that? So, you know, so it's spread that way.
Yeah, and I'm actually on that. I'm actually on that committee on Schools of the Future. Like, well, I was on the selection committee this year, and unfortunately, we did the. I mean, I think they have a good job with the strands, and we had lots and lots of applications and some really high quality things. And so most of those topics that were really popular are already going to be reflected in Schools of the Future. But our conference was after the Schools of the Future selections were already made, because we do that in March and very early April. But all of those topics that were our most popular are all heavily covered at Schools of the Future. So we should be okay. But I was more thinking good data for our school leaders, you know, for what kinds of things they might want to do professional development on at the school level. So I'll be sharing that with the Kauai Educational Leadership Alliance and then our DOE principals as well.
Great.
Over the next month or so, I'll share that with them. Yeah.
Neat. Lots of good stuff. I'm so glad that it was successful for you. I had no doubt, really. I really had no doubt. And you were lucky. You know, things can happen, and you were lucky that they didn't. But what it sounded, our other show we did sounded like you had it pretty much set up, that it was bound to succeed. So I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. The one thing about EdCamps that, and people I don't think get it, is that, you know, they go there and they say, oh, okay, what are you offering me? And then they realize it's themselves. And so that's the strength of it, because people, and Anne actually, and I went to her first EdCamp, and we chose, remember that, Anne? We chose Google Sites because you wanted to learn about it. And we ended up doing that, but it was so personal, and she got what she wanted because it was her that decided, not someone who thought they knew what she wanted, kind of thing. So that's the huge thing. But I don't, for some reason, in my experience, administrators don't get it, you know, when you try to explain. And we talked about this in the previous show. You actually kind of have to experience it and see what it's like.
Right.
Question.
Yes,
Linda,
Anne.
is there EdCamp and Unconference just used synonymously or interchangeably? Is there a difference?
Pretty much. I think an unconference could probably be something else, but an EdCamp is always an unconference.
Yes. Yes. If you're going to have an EdCamp, it has to be in this format. Unconferences, the two that I've went to, are in the exact same format, so I really couldn't tell you the difference going to both unconferences and EdCamps. They mirror each other. I think the EdCamp just follows the EdCamp Foundation to a T. You know, it's kind of, I don't know, that brand that you follow, but it's a well-known name, and they offer support. So I think if you're going to go for something, that's always nice to have, you know, a mentor and then the EdCamp in a box if you decide to, you know, call it an EdCamp. And also what the EdCamps do is they have a wiki page, so they put up all the EdCamps that are going on across the country. Some people are really into traveling, you know, hitting as many EdCamps as possible. So the EdCamp really connects other EdCamps together as well. Whereas on conferences, you're kind of on your own.
Okay.
Great. I also
think.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No.
Oh, I was just going to add one thing, is that some other industries hold unconferences. And I think when we hear the word EdCamp, we know it's an education unconference. So I think that can help kind of differentiate. But then, like, I just put the link in. Kamehameha is having their unconference coming up, and they call theirs an unconference because they don't follow. I mean, they follow closely, Jess, but I'm not sure it's exactly, or if they just started naming that before EdCamp. If they started to be called EdCamps, so they stuck with it. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that helps.
Definitely helps. I wanted to mention Michael couldn't come on tonight, but I asked him if he wanted to say anything about the EdCamp, and he mentions that the coordination and planning was perfect, and the attendees had a great energy. And the topic board filled up so quickly with so many great ideas. So he was definitely pleased with how it went.
Yeah. He was a big help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We were, that was like it was mine anyway, security blanket. Like, I know Michael's here, so if something happens, we have a go-to person right there. And yeah, he was definitely helpful in the beginning in that frenzy of a session board and everything. But after that, everything, went smoothly. So I was glad that he got to go and actually enjoy it, because I thought, oh man, he's going to be there and, helping us work out all these kinks that are going to happen. And, he got to go to, all the sessions, and after the beginning, he just got to enjoy it and be a participant and not an organizer for once. So I'm super excited that him and Elizabeth got to come and experience that. And it was great to have Elizabeth there and just put a face to, this is our HST president. We don't, get to see them face to face over here, and we do our own, quarterly meet and greets and things, and but we don't ever, we don't get the chance to connect with them very often. So it was great to have her there and spread the word about HST and HST Kauai to 95, people. Not all of them were HST members before they came, and we did have a lot more sign up after, so that was good.
That's great.
That's great.
Like a snowball. I think he started a snowball.
Yay!
Very cool. Yeah, yeah.
What we want.
Definitely. Neat. Anything else you want to mention?
No, I think that was about it for me.
Yeah.
Very much full. Very much full. Thanks for coming on for this second time.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
A pleasure. And thank you for doing the Storify. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Actually, that might be a good segue into, I mentioned that we're going to do the discovery discovery thing. So let me find my Storify first. And what Jess is mentioning or referring to is an app that you can use to collect tweets and actually other things as well. So let me see if I can find it. Sorry, I should have been prepared for that. Oh wait, it's on the notes. Hello. Okay, let me share with you. Yeah, it's on the notes. Okay, so I'll do that, and then I'll also do a discovery. And then if you girls want to share a discovery, that would be great too.
Yep, I have one.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay, so this is the show notes. You can see the show notes, correct? All right, yeah, okay. These are the show notes, and you can get to them by going to bit.ly, GRH75 notes. And here we have some links that Jess and Elizabeth and Lisa have put in. And Anne actually has put in, we populated it before as well, thank you, Anne, with 2 Edutopia links, which she said, I think she was shared by Michael. I assume that's Michael Fricano. And then there are more things that people added. So be sure to check the show notes to see what's happening there. And then the Storify that they're talking about was a blog post that I did. Actually, this is the Storify itself, and it is a, wow, I thought this was my blog post. It's not my blog post. Oh, okay, here it is. It is a blog post, kind of, but it tells, what I did was I picked the different elements that about the EdCamp. For instance, it starts off with the show that we did, so you can click on that link to look at the previous hangout on EdCamp. And this is the very full session board which Lisa put up. And yes, that standardized neon-colored Post-it notes that are have come to be associated with EdCamp. And then, let's see, sorry, a little bumpy. I hate it when people scroll and it's bumpy. And this is a nice photo that Michael took of the activity going on, selfie, which is great. And then more activity that just put on, great conversations happening. And then another tweet, basically with why you can embed tweets and put it in a blog. Jess mentioned that she loved hearing how teachers are overcoming. Aaron Gould, is that how you pronounce his name?
I think that's Aaron Gould.
Made him think, oh, I'm sorry. Oh gosh, I'm bouncing around here. He had a storytelling thing that he had. Okay, that kind of gives you an idea. I'm bouncing around too much. Let's see. Why am I? But there are lots of the food. That's what the food is. Yummy lunch. Who provided the yummy lunch? Hello?
The lunch, hi, sorry, you're fading in and out on me. The lunch was provided by a local catering company,
Nice.
Island Catering, yeah.
Little plug for them, that's great. And I guess Melanie was interested in Macy's. For some reason, my scrolling is bumpy here. I'm not sure what's happening. But anyway, you get an idea of how the Storify went. It was Linda Lindsay on Maui trying to figure out what was happening. And I have a rubber ball of rainbow happen here, so I'm not sure what's happening. I'm going to close it. Oh, sorry about that. I think I have too many things open.
What happens?
And can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
What I'm trying to do is do the discovery. While I'm like bouncing around here, do you want to go ahead and share, Lisa?
Sure. I'm just trying to figure out, should I hit the screen share button and then go to the window that I want? Is that what's going to happen? To the tab I want? Because it's out of, let me try. Let's take my entire screen.
I'm going to try to lower my bandwidth.
And let me see if I can get you here. So can you guys see that Padlet in front of you? Do you see this CKMS 51115? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is an app called Padlet. I mean, not an app, it's a website. .com, and what it is sort of like this bulletin board. So this is one that I created for a workshop that I gave on Monday on writing in the non-English, writing across the curriculum basically. It was writing for non-English teachers. And so in this, if you scroll, I'll scroll down a little and hopefully you can see that basically you just pin the things you're using. So here were my slides, the handouts we gave, the agenda, and then resources that were populated by myself and the participants throughout. And then a couple of the teachers used it for exit cards. And I wanted to show you this one, but then I also wanted to show you one. I went to a session 2 weeks ago at another high school, and this was their Padlet. Can you guys see the different one now, Kapa'a High School?
Yes.
And you can see here that the presenter here started this session with each person posting what they wanted to learn that day, right? You can see all the teachers' names, and then you can see someone who took a webcam picture. And then the resources were put here. So it's like a website now, that a link that anyone who is at that session and anyone else that has the link can go to, and it's just a hub of information. But you can see the application for it across a lot of variety. So I'm going to show you how to add something really quick. You double-click anywhere, and then you just give it a title. So I'm going to just make something up. So today's Google Rocks, right? And then I have a choice. I can describe it, or I can add a link, I can upload a file, or I can take a picture with a webcam. Those are the three things I can do with this here. And I think this is like one of my favorite new things that I'm really excited about using this in PD and teaching teachers how to use this in the classroom, because you can imagine all sorts of brainstorming can happen, collaborative group work, kids can put up resources around topics that they're working on, and they're really easy to create. The users do not need, they don't need accounts, so they just need this address up here at the top, and then anyone can add to it. You can share it with people. So this is what my home page looks like. Take a second. And it gives me the activity people did. I can tell someone updated their exit card even today or yesterday. There's a Chrome extension. Mine's up here. So anything you come across, you can just use that, put it on there. I only have one Padlet of my own right now. That I could have if people shared with me would be there, and people contributed to them. So this is the free version because I'm just learning it, but there is a premium version that I think allows you to kind of customize the order, because the one thing I can't do that I wish I could do is drag these around, right, and put them in a better order.
Actually, I think you can.
So I'm trying, and it doesn't go. See? I think you have to have the premium. I think you have to pay for it.
Okay.
But anyway.
Okay, that is fantastic. I love Padlet. I love Padlet. It's really great. It's good. Yeah. It's good as a back channel as well.
Yep. I can definitely see that. I had just never seen it before, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was pretty psyched about it. I'm like, where have I been?
That's very, very cool. Okay, let me see if I can show you my little discovery. It went bad because I think I had too many. Windows open. Went bad for me and might have been fine for you. This is something that I learned today about Google Slides, which is really cool. So here I have a photo that I happen to insert into a slide, but I want to put it into a shape. I didn't realize you could do that. You could put it into a shape. So what you do is select the photo, and right next to the crop image icon, there's a little triangular thing called mask image. So when you do that, click on it, you can do little shapes. So if, say, I want that lay to be a shape of a circle,
Nice.
It becomes a circle. Or I could do a call out. It just changes the shape, which I didn't know about. It's actually not new, but it's new to me. It's kind of, or anybody, it might be something not so new, but it's new to you, so it's very cool. I think it's very cool. Love it. Did I say that right? I'm not sure if I did.
Yes.
I didn't mean to I don't know if I insulted you with that. I'm sorry, I don't think so, but
No.
I wanted to make sure I didn't. Okay. What I was trying to say is that it's constantly changing, and some things are new to us that are old to other people, but then it's all we don't know when that is.
Right.
Like I actually looked back at that shape thing, and people were talking about it 2 years ago, and I thought I had discovered it today. Anyway, do you have anything to share, Anne or Jess? Any discovery?
I've just been really busy. This is my last week. I'm doing a 8-week 3D printing and digital design after school club. So the past 5 days I've been printing things out like crazy. So I'm kind of totally engulfed in that until tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last class. But I can show you, if I can figure it out, some of the products from one of my schools that I'm doing it at real quick, just to show you what the kids have been up to. Where's my screen share? Okay, so okay. Do you see? Am I doing this right? Am I showing?
Google
Yes.
slide.
Okay, yeah, it's a Google slide. So at the end, they all had to put their information in a Google slide. So I had, some documentation they presented. But the whole club was run on the design thinking model. So they had to find out what problems we have and find a way to solve them and what can they create using TinkerCad. So I had one girl who wanted to help with the overpopulation of cats. So she researched some things, interviewed some people, and made her pictures in here because hers I had to print out during class was a statue. I'll show you it later. Another student wanted to reduce plastic use, so he designed a TV frame that was recyclable. I had another boy who did, he wants to redesign the road systems and put the roads underground and just have the sidewalks on top, so he designed his, what he thinks the road should be like here. I had another student design a bridge. I had this student design a pair of glasses that have removable lens pieces, so you can clip, your sunglasses and your lenses in and out and print off your new frames if you break them. And then I had another student make another bridge because they live in Honolulu, and Honolulu has a one-way bridge, so that's definitely a concern for them in their world. And then a student who wants another pizza place on the island, so he designed his pizza place. I had another, let's see, this student wanted a trash compactor, so he designed it to look like a monster, a trash monster. So it's been a wonderful experience getting to do this TinkerCAD and 3D printing with these kids. They're 5th and 6th graders, and their imaginations are just limitless, and they came up with some things that really creative. I had one student, this is printing out, Enable makes a hand for child amputees, so we printed out all the pieces to a hand that the student is going to put together over the summer, but all those things were printed on our 3D printer, and so that's what I've been busy with. So I've just been learning the ins and outs of TinkerCAD and making things on, digitally, and then how you get them from the computer design program to actually print out and work on a 3D printer. It's not as easy as you think sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like a great workshop.
Yeah.
Hands-on, or
Very.
going from how it's supposed to work and how it actually works. I think it stops me, that's for sure. But yeah, it's so creative, that project. And did the kids do their own slides? for that?
Yeah, so I used at this school we have Google Apps, so the kids are familiar, they have accounts. So yeah, the kids created their individual slides. I love Google Apps for everything, my daily use, my educational use, everything. So yeah, the kids use it for that. I share with them all my resources. That way, they're very self-directed. Everything's in there for them. They just have to access it through their drive or, the presentation I've shared with them.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to hear on Google Rocks Hawaii.
Yeah.
Put it in there. Okay, we are past the hour, and it's been fun learning from all of you. And did you have a discovery to share?
I went to the mini maker fair at Iolani this past Saturday, and I soldered for the first time in my life.
Soldered? Oh, that is awesome. Was that the Honolulu Mini Maker Fair? Is that what that was? Or is that
mini maker fair, they call it? Yeah. So the Kauai group was there, the Maui group was there too.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
And they had hands-on kinds of things?
Oh, yes. Like, so that soldering thing, and lots of drones that people fly. That looked fun too. I didn't do that though. Lots of crazy ideas that look really neat. It's like we got to learn TinkerCad and do some 3D printing, Linda.
Definitely. Jess is going to teach us.
Okay.
How many people were there? A lot? I mean, what was your estimation?
I don't know. I stayed from 12 to around 3:30, and the place is always filled with people, every floor,
So many opportunities.
They had raffle tickets as well. I didn't win anything, so shucks.
As good as the EdCamKauai?
No, that I don't know. I don't know what kind of prizes they had.
Those were awesome prizes for Kauai.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Okie dokie, girls. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate you coming on and spreading the good word about EdCamp and just sharing, having the discovery. I learned something today, which is fantastic. I think what's going to happen is we're going to, just for the people who are viewing, I am going to take a couple weeks off, mainly because they're doing graduation at my school and some busy things. So we will pick up probably in June, and we'll see how it goes from there. But so this is the last show for a couple weeks. And unless anyone has anything to add, any parting thoughts?
Thank you so much for having us, Linda.
You're welcome.
It helps us document the process, and
definitely.
I appreciate you being interested in what we've got going on over here.
I definitely am, and can I make an appointment for the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have definitely some running threads through the show for sure.
Yeah.
Because I definitely am interested, and it's definitely up and coming and vibrant, and other people are interested in it as well.
Yeah, we got to get one on Maui.
I was thinking about that. I mean, I would probably be excited about it, but I definitely do not. We need a group like you guys got a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need a team where there's several people excited about it. And yeah, anybody out there on Maui interested? I'd be happy to work with you. Yeah.
I know a couple people who might be. How we got it going with our group even was we just decided one day at Schools of the Future to have lunch together and talk about possibilities. This was 2 years ago. This was not last year. It was before that.
So I shouldn't be so impatient then. It does take a little while.
Yeah, we started a little HST Kauai subgroup, just started that group meeting, and then this is our second year of meeting that we had this, and we were lucky enough to get this grant to help support us. But I would just, it's just, we had that opportunity at Schools of the Future where all these sort of more forward-thinking people were there, and we just had lunch, and then the conversation just snowballed, right? So
It was fate,
anyway.
I think. All the right people came together, and yeah, it just kind of burst into creativity. Yeah,
Linda,
that's a really.
Linda,
Yes,
you
Anne.
get we have mommy to jump on board too. But they come out to the Honolulu conference.
We could do that. Yeah, possibilities. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again. I'm gonna run.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
We're gonna say aloha for now.
Aloha.
Take care. Stopping the broadcast now. See you.